Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. My name is Lula and today I'm going to be talking about 3 things that I stopped doing to improve at chess. If you're not too familiar with my videos, then I have an ongoing series / playlist about how I'm getting back into chess after a long hiatus. The link will be in the description if you missed any of those, so you can catch up. Mostly I've talked about things that I want to start doing or things that I think I could do more of in order to improve, but there are certain bad habits or things that I think we can all cut out in order to focus more on things that are helpful to us. And so today I'm going to be specifically speaking from experience and talking about 3 things that I have stopped doing in order to improve. I think some of these are going to be a little bit controversial. I also want to be clear that what might be a bad habit for me might not be a bad habit for you, because we all respond differently and we all learn in different ways. I realize every time I film these videos where I say like 3 things or 5 things, I always start with number 1 and then work my way up. Whereas I feel like I'm supposed to be starting at like number 3 and then working my way towards number 1. But honestly, I think it's clickbait when people say like, oh, number 1 is gonna be such a shocker, because like they're all important. So will number 3 be such a shocker? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe not. You'll just have to wait and find out. This is the most anti-clickbait thing ever. Anyway, the first thing that I did that improved my chess was cutting out blitz. I did say this was going to be controversial. The only exception I have to this is Chess 960 Blitz, which I do play on my stream. And I think that Chess 960 is like an exception because no one takes their blitz rating on Chess 960 seriously. And also, like, when you're playing Chess 960, it really is the Wild West, no matter what rating you are, because people play crazy opening ideas, people play crazy just moves in general, things that you would never see pop up in a normal game. And so I feel like Chess 960 exists separately. And even though it's blitz, I think it's allowed. And I don't play it that often. I want to clarify by saying that I have never been good at blitz. I have no sense of urgency and I flag, I think, 70% of my blitz games because I just don't even notice the clock, or I waste all of my time in a critical position. You may call this just bad time management, but when you have 3 minutes, is there really a good way to manage your time? I feel like that's kind of saying that one of those moths that lives like 24 hours is not optimizing the 24 hours that they're alive. Like, it's not a long lifespan. There's only so much you can do. This is what happens when I go off script and I start talking about moths for some reason. But there was a time when I was only playing blitz because I was only playing chess on stream. And when I would stream blitz because people want to watch blitz. And I hated it. I honestly ended up hating chess. And that's one of the reasons why I kind of quit playing altogether, was because I was just having such a bad time. I was getting so tilted. I was multitasking chess and streaming. I just honestly think that cutting out blitz was the best and healthiest thing that I could do at the time. I also want to say that outside of me and my own personal chess issues, playing blitz really doesn't teach you much about strategy or planning because it is so tactics based. People are just setting up traps, hoping to be winning out of the opening so they don't actually have to think in the middle game. And just in general, you're not thinking long term. I think it's fine if you only want to play blitz. But if you want to become a FIDE-rated, over-the-board classical chess player, I think you're doing yourself a disservice by having long blitz sessions where you realistically could be spending that time doing something else. If you often find yourself thinking, I don't know what to do when you reach the middle game, then you're either a beginner or you've only played blitz. Because strategy, like tactics, is a learned skill, and you can't only play blitz and bullet and then start playing a classical game and expect to know what to do when your opponent doesn't blunder on move 8. The problem is, by only playing blitz, you are not training that skill in a meaningful way. Honestly, I find it rare that people sit down and only play one blitz game. I think it's very addictive because the dopamine loop, like, you have very quick results. Whereas if you're playing a very long chess game, you definitely don't have that same chemical reaction in your brain. And so if you're going to sit down and play a lot of blitz games in a row, I really think that the best thing you could do instead is play either one long game or several rapid games instead, because then you'll be spending the same amount of time on chess, but just in a much more meaningful way. Like, there will just come a time where you play against a stronger player and they don't blunder and they just play what seem like the simplest chess moves in the world, yet somehow they're outplaying you with their eyes closed and you don't even know what went wrong. It's just you didn't know anything about positional chess or strategy. For me personally, I replaced those blitz games with playing practice games with my friends, either 50 or 45 minutes plus 10 seconds increment, or just playing kind of like 10 plus 5 as well is really useful. I think the key here of playing with friends is we get to analyze them afterwards, and doing a post-game analysis is honestly half of learning. Like, you can't learn just from playing the games, you need to put some thought into it as well. And so post-game analysis together has really helped me. Okay, so now that I've lost half of my viewers by telling people to quit playing blitz, I can tell you that the second thing that I stopped doing in order to improve at chess is that I quit playing the openings that I didn't like. I just decided I didn't want to do them anymore. Sometimes quitting honestly is the best choice, and I feel like we don't talk enough about that in our world, where quitting seems like a sign of weakness or failure. I was playing the French defense for the longest time out of fear over e4, e5 being too complicated and too scary. But the fact is that every chess opening is scary. And at some point, if you want to get out of the cage you've put yourself in of playing 1e6 or 1c6 or whatever opening it is that you've been playing that you don't really enjoy, you're going to have to bite the bullet and try something scary and something new. Hello. Do you want to say hi? Come and say hi. Look, the camera is here. At the end of the day, I still have the French as a backup weapon if I want to play it, but I'm not obliged to ever play an exchange French again, which is something I am extremely happy about. I think most people have an opening or a line of an opening that they don't enjoy playing, and so my question for you is, why not change that? I don't think you should flip-flop around changing openings all the time either. But all I'm saying is you don't have to be bored. I felt stuck playing the French defense for the longest time, but I think I was just in denial because at the end of the day, it was always my choice to change to another opening. There are many things in chess that are outside of our control, but this is one thing that we can control, and so we should make the most of it. I also think that new openings means new positions, which brings the excitement back into chess if you're feeling jaded or bored. Learning new things is one of the reasons that I fell in love with chess in the first place, and so at least now I can learn about something that I'm interested in instead of learning how not to get squished in the French. I'm not trying to pick on the French defense, by the way. It's just what I can speak of from my personal experience, but I think everybody has some kind of opening that they're unhappy with. Okay, so the third thing that I stopped doing is actually the most important thing. So if you're still here and you stuck around despite the fact that I'm not good at counting, I will tell you that I stopped letting my fear of losing stop me from participating and stop me from playing the game. I've met so many people who have told me that once they've reached a certain rating on chess.com, they'll never log into their account again or use it because they don't want to lose that rating. I find that really sad, like genuinely very depressing that some core part of their self-worth is tied to a game score. However, I think we all suffer this to some extent, some more extreme than others. There's a fear of losing that I see in my high-rated friends when we're at a tournament together and they get paired down, which means they have a pressure to win. It's the same fear of losing you see when adults get paired against children in tournaments. It's the same fear when you once had a better position in a game and now you're drawn or losing and you haven't come to terms with it. For me, this fear manifested in not really wanting to play at all. Knowing that I couldn't reach my own standards, I decided I didn't want to put in any work anyway, because at least if I didn't try, I couldn't fail. This led me to step out entirely, and I think it's a very extreme example. I think usually I'm a relatively reasonable person, and I can acknowledge that failure is probably the only way to grow. We need to accept that failure in order to move forwards. You will win games that make you very happy that you decided to participate, and you will lose games that make you wonder why you ever decided to play again. But the important thing is that you played. This is why you shouldn't be chasing a specific rating. Like many goals in life, even if we are incredibly result-oriented, we will not feel the satisfaction that we think we'll feel when we reach a specific number. I think another reason this was a problem for me was because I started only playing chess when on stream, and that happened for a very, very long time, which meant that whenever I was playing chess, I was always multitasking. This may not be such a relatable example, but I knew that because I wasn't focused, I would never be able to play my best games, and this gave me an excuse. This acted as a shield for me, or a get out of jail free card, because I knew that if I played badly, I had a reason. I still think that it's really hard to stream and play good chess at the same time, unless you're Hikaru. But if you're only playing chess when you're on stream, then you don't have any kind of gauge for the chess that you can play when you're focused. There was a period of time where I dreaded logging on to play chess on stream because I didn't have any other representation of my skill level. I didn't have anything that I could compare to the failures that I was having on my stream because, I don't know, I had to moderate something in the chat, or maybe I just wasn't feeling that happy about being on camera that day. And so I just played bad chess, and I thought that that's all I was capable of. Now that I'm back to playing real world classical chess, I don't care at all what happens on the stream because these games are not important to me. If I lose to someone lower rated, okay, I don't have to question my skills because I know that I can perform well at a tournament. Look at this cat. She's crazy. She's like, yeah, I'm gonna sit right now, right in the middle of the video. It might just sound like I'm yapping about what it's like to be a streamer, but I truly believe that what I'm talking about is something that affects all chess players. It's to do with not wanting to play that one friend because you know that they beat you all the time, or an insecurity of losing to somebody much lower rated than you. And there will always be another blunder and there will always be another queen hang, but what I want to tell you is the biggest losers are the people who refuse to participate. So please play without the fear of queuing, the fear of losing, the fear of your rating changing, and know that your best game is yet to come. I hope these 3 things that I've talked about can help you in your chess improvement journey. And if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe and leave a comment down below. I read all of them, and I will see you next time. Bye guys.